Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Gabrielle Lucas and I'm the Adult Services Manager here at the Newcastle Library. Today I'm going to be discussing the library's Cultural Series program, which over the past year has really grown to become a focal point for the Adult Services Department and I think the library as a whole. The Cultural Series occurs every spring and fall and features around 5 presentations that are centered around a specific theme. So far, we've had series that center around death and dying, religious experiences around the world, and the upcoming fall cultural series that's going to feature the environment. This program was created in order to introduce and connect the local community with a variety of viewpoints, topics, and cultures. And these presentations were really also meant to showcase the diversity that could be found within our local community and to make patrons aware that they didn't have to travel to a larger city or unfamiliar areas to be introduced to something new and unfamiliar to them. So, before we dive into the specifics of the cultural series, I want to quickly remind everyone of the core mission of the Newcastle Library, because the design behind the cultural series really comes out of the library's mission and its vision. As you know, our goal is to inspire lifelong learning and serve as a welcoming space for everyone. The cultural series is really designed to be a direct and powerful extension of this mission, offering programs that not only educate but also enrich the lives of the members of our community. So, to me, looking at that more specifically, the cultural series is really built on 4 key components that are fundamental to that success and this alignment with the library's mission. So, first is fostering community connections and partnerships. This is one of the biggest points of the cultural series. To be really blunt, the cultural series would not be possible without the help and support of organizations within our community. In the inaugural Fall Cultural Series alone, which was really the smallest one of the series, we worked with Westminster professors, the local coroner's office, Three Rivers Hospice, the Newcastle Area Honor Guard, and among others to bring this series to life. And these community partnerships have really only increased with each series that we've done since then, really allowing the library to grow its connections and its visibility in the community. The series also fosters community connection by bringing attendees who normally wouldn't come into the library into the building, opening that door to introduce them to everything that the library has to offer. Next up, we have educational enrichment. These programs are really designed to be informative and engaging and catering to interests in the community. This is in direct alignment with the library's commitment to being a Gold Star library through the PA Forward program. Um, the PA Forward Gold Star program is an initiative by the Pennsylvania Library Association that recognizes libraries for their commitment to providing essential skills to their communities. So, having a Gold Star designation, which the library has had since 2019, showcases us as a leader in creating a wide range of educational programming that centers around 5 different literacies. So, there's basic, information, civic and social, health, and financial literacy. For the cultural series, information literacy and civic and social literacy are really the most relevant, although we've had, I think, all of the 5 literacies pop up at one point or another with the programs we've done there. Information literacy refers to equipping individuals with the skills that they need to be able to evaluate, find, and use credible information, and to use that information effectively and accurately. Civic and social literacy encourages citizens to engage actively in their communities. So that includes understanding civil discourse and engaging respectfully with other people. And so these 2 literacies really go hand in hand with the key goal of the cultural series of introducing patrons to new experiences and to new information. By hosting discussions and events on these really diverse and interesting topics, we're encouraging these literacies by allowing individuals to engage in that discourse, engage in those conversations, and promoting that type of community engagement. So the last 2 of these components, showcasing a variety of cultures and perspectives. I mean, that's in the name. It's the cultural series. Again, a critical part of our mission to be a welcoming space and to enrich people's lives, and then increasing the library's relevance. Again, by offering this variety and timely programming, we ensure that the library can stay a vital resource for Newcastle and its citizens. And again, like I mentioned before, bringing new people into the library and building those connections with the library, making them want to come back and come see what else we have to offer. So now that I've talked about the overarching ideas of the cultural series, what did we actually do in each of these? So the inaugural cultural series in fall of 2024, which was personal accounts of death and community impact, explored how different communities and groups celebrate, mourn, and process death. This 5-part series included the introduction of a grief support group, which actually still meets at the library every month, and they have a really dedicated following, a group of people that come. A presentation from a Westminster College professor on Pennsylvania's supernatural history and kind of folklore, a visit from the county coroner's office to discuss the workings of the department and how they handle calls, and a tour of the Madonna Cemetery that featured insight into the Polish community's traditions surrounding All Saints' Day. And finally, the dedication of a memorial plaque honoring Nathan B. Baskind, who was a Jewish World War II soldier who was buried in a Nazi grave and only recently identified and given a proper Jewish burial at the American Cemetery in Normandy. So these are just a couple pictures from those. So the upper left corner shows the presentation of Pennsylvania's supernatural history, and the other two pictures showcase the Nathan B. Baskin event. The top picture is his, I believe his niece or his great niece being presented a flag by the Newcastle Area Honor Guard. And then the bottom picture showcases the unveiling of that plaque that highlights his life and his story. So for spring 2025, the theme was religious experiences around the world. And again, this is really a good example of that showcasing a variety of cultures and perspectives, which even if patrons are unfamiliar, can all really be found locally. Because with the exception of the monastery, all of these other programs involve local organizations, local groups, and local experiences. So this lineup included a really variety of presentations. So we had first was a presentation on Quakertown and the Quakertown settlement that is down in Mahoningtown. And that included being able to view, if we look at these pictures on this side, being able to view different artifacts that were found at that site. Then we also have From Utopia to Reality, which was the Harmony Society came and did a presentation on that society and its history. We had Dr. Kristen Park from Westminster College do a presentation about the Amish. And we had the Sisters of the Humility of Mary come and do a presentation about the history of their convent. And so finally, the last presentation that was a week-long visit from monks from the Drepung Losling Monastery, which is a monastery that's located in Atlanta and is a branch of the monastery in Tibet. And so they were here for a week, and they did a variety of programs at the library, including a week-long mandala, which was ceremonial sand painting. So if we look at these pictures here, you can see the first picture showcases them working on the mandala and the altar that they had set up at the library. And the center picture shows an up-close view of that mandala. And so having them here really, again, brought a lot of that community engagement. The last picture shows Andrew actually being interviewed by the Casey Malone Show, which is a local talk show out of Youngstown. So the library got to be featured on that and really get a lot of good outreach and good support from that. The monks really culminated their visit with a performance at the Scottish Rite Cathedral, which saw over 350 people attend to see. The performance was called Sacred Music and Sacred Chants. So again, brought a lot of people in to experience this culture and this different religion that they wouldn't be able to see. They wouldn't have the opportunity to see otherwise. And so as we've executed 2 successful cultural series so far, we've really seen significant positive community feedback. It is really popular amongst patrons in the community. We've also seen significant growth in the series. So for example, the fall series, which was our first one, had 5 programs and brought in a total of 175 attendees. For the spring, we had around 7 programs. With the way the monks programs were, it's hard to count it as 1 or 2, but around 7 programs, plus a variety of other displays and other passive activities for patrons to interact with. which gave us engagement of over 1,000 people. And so this really showcases that there's a strong community interest in this type of programming. And to me, at least, it confirms that the cultural series is, being effective at increasing the library's relevance and fulfilling a need and an interest within our community. Looking to the future of our fall cultural series, which starts about a month from today, the first one is on September 13th, our interconnected world delves into all of the intricate ways that humanity is interwoven with the natural environment and with each other. So through a variety of programs, we're going to explore these themes of life, death, sustainability, and the environment, and really the impact that the environment and conservation and scientific inquiry has on our understanding of the world. So again, we're really relying heavily on community partnerships here. The first cultural series program for this series will be at Apple Castle, and so we'll get to go on a tour of their facility and really learn what it means to be a part of the agriculture industry in Lawrence County. Lawrence County Conservation District will be doing a program at the library on water conservation and specifically how conservation and the environment are important to our riverways and our waterways in the area. We'll also be visiting Westminster College and their apiary, and we will be getting a full tour of the apiary. We will be able to try on the different bee suits and get up close with the hive and learn how it all works, and probably get to test some honey as well. We'll be visiting the Lawrence County Sportsmen's Association and getting a tour of their facility. And then as it is the fall and we're getting into hunting season, they will be giving us some hunting safety tips and guides, things like that. Dr. Joseph DeZino, who is a professor at George Mason University, will be zooming in virtually for us. He's a professor of forensic science, I believe, and he is a former FBI agent, and he works on their body farm program. And so he will be talking about how body farms and how studying decomposition can be used to train forensic scientists as well as law enforcement into solving crimes. And finally, this last one, the Soul of the Land, we will be having Kurt Miney, who is a Newcastle native and a current fellow of the Aldo Leopold Foundation. He will be coming in to discuss Aldo Leopold and Aldo Leopold's ideas on conservation and the environment. So Aldo Leopold was the first person who really proposed this idea of the land ethic, which is that we all have a moral responsibility to take care of the land and take care of our environment. So that will be in partnership with Westminster's Center for the Environment. So we will be hosting that presentation. We're really excited to welcome Kurt Miney back home. And so again, all of these different topics are going to provide both that educational enrichment that I talked about, and again, promoting that information and civic and social literacy, promoting those conversations and those different ideas in the community. So looking farther ahead, even more into the future, spring 2026, we're going to be working with the theme of America's 250th anniversary. And this name that you see here, the American Experiment, in a month, it might be a completely different name. Right now, that is tentative, but it will be about America's 250th anniversary. And some of the ideas that we're throwing around right now look at bringing in the Daughters of the American Revolution to talk about probably about genealogy and how to trace your roots back to that time period. Having people from the Soldiers and Sailors Museum in Pittsburgh come in to talk about military history and especially the history of military uniforms. Presentations from Westminster's History Department, and a tour potentially of a Revolutionary War cemetery in the area. Again, all of these ideas and this series continues the theme of the cultural series program, really aiming to explore local history and experiences while also connecting them to broader perspectives across the country and introducing patrons to new ideas and these new experiences. I want to thank everyone for your time today. As you've seen, the cultural series, I think, has become a tremendous success. Not only growing our attendance, but more importantly, really fulfilling the core mission of the Newcastle Public Library. And it's something that I personally am really proud to get to be a part of and to work on. By fostering those community partnerships and showcasing those diverse perspectives, I really think we're inspiring lifelong learning and making the library that essential, welcoming place for everyone. I look forward to really continuing this series for a long time and for many years to come because it's very exciting to be a part of. Thank you again.